Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday. Today is April the 13th. Today we are doing the Beaming Star quilt block. It's a 12-inch quilt block, and you'll see all of the measurements up here on the screen. This is what we're making today. Hello. Let me see if I can find this video. Hopefully the live chat will be working. Just want to say, if you've been in the line of storms yesterday, last night, this morning, this afternoon, just know I've been praying for you. I hope you're staying safe. I hope all of this weather will be done soon. It is clearing up for a little while here, and then we have one more line of storms coming through this afternoon. Those are not supposed to be as bad as they were this morning, but yes, I've been thinking about everybody today. And I hope you're doing fantastic. I'm coming on a little bit later today because I was watching for the weather. I'm hoping that the live chat will be working okay. Hopefully we'll have a clean stream without any interruptions. We'll see how it goes. But yes, welcome to a new week. This is what we're making today. It's so great to see you all this morning. Nope, Miss Wanda, you're catching me live. Hello. Yes, hello everybody. So I have 4 questions lined up for today. If you want to play along, make sure to stay to the end of today's video, or if you have to leave, come back and watch the replay. I'm going to show you the quilt block we're doing tomorrow. Y'all, 21 blocks. The Beaming Stars are 21st quilt block of this series. 21 quilt blocks. It's so great to see you all today. I see all the comments coming through. Before we get started for today, just letting you know or shouting out a reminder, if you have any questions, to put them in all caps. That would make it really easy for me to see. I see Miss Chantel's here, Diane's here. Thank you both for moderating and keeping an eye on our chat. Not all the time, but sometimes we get some little troublemakers come through. So thank you both so much for keeping an eye out for me. I appreciate you so much. Oh, wow. It's so great to see everybody. Miss Robin, I've been watching your videos. They're a lot of fun. If y'all, if you find yourself needing some uplifting sewing and quilting videos, Miss Robin at RS Island Crafts has an awesome YouTube channel. You can go check that out. So great to see you. So let me show you. Dun, 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 dun. I already have my fabrics cut out for this block. Yes, I do. And we're about ready to get started. Yes, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope your Easter was lovely. I hope you ate something yummy yesterday. So this is what we're doing, and we're going to go ahead and jump in and get started with today's tutorial because I think this block might take a good minute, right? I think it might take a minute. So we have all of the pieces here on the mat. The very first thing we're going to do is start cutting some half square triangles, y'all. Now, the half square triangles of this block, there are several of them. Just letting you know, if you're someone who likes to make bigger half square triangles and then cut them down to size, you are most certainly welcome to do that. There's always more than one way to do anything. Mimsy says I'm buffering. Am I buffering on my end? Or maybe it's, hopefully we're going okay. Oh, wait a second. I have the video here on my cell phone and everything seems okay on my end, but I'm not sure. It could be my internet. With the weather, you never know. Okay, it looks like I'm good now. All right, yay. let's go ahead and get started. So the very first thing we're going to do, if you're sewing with me live, is we're going to cut apart some fabric. Doesn't matter using dry or steam when ironing blocks. Susan, I think that's really a personal preference. Some people love steam, and some people do not put water in their iron whatsoever, and they do all of their pressing with a dry iron. And then some people press with a dry iron, but they have a little mister, and they mist their fabrics and press it that way. We're all different. I prefer the steam, but not everybody does. Just the most important thing is when you're pressing, make sure you're pressing and not stretching those fabrics out by ironing, right? We don't want to stretch out the shape of our fabrics, but the steam, some people love it, other people do not. All right, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the red fabrics. There's 6 of them. They're 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. We're going to cut those apart. I'm going to stack, let's see, I'll stack 3 right on top of each other. Just like that. Make sure they're all lined up. I'm going to line those up on a line on my cutting mat. And because there's 6 of these, I'll line up 3 more. I like to make my cuts as few as possible, so I'm going to cut several at one time. So with these red fabrics, we're going to cut one time right on the diagonal from corner to corner, the 6 red pieces. Okay, I'm going to stand up to do that. So we go from 6 squares to now 12 triangles. Of course, that one didn't cut all the way. There we go. 6 squares. We now have 12 triangles. I'm going to set those off to the side. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in the white pieces that are 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. And there are 2 of those. I'm going to line up the raw edges nice and straight. And we're also cutting these 2 pieces one time right on the diagonal. Okay? Right through the middle. Just like that. 2 squares. Now we have 4 triangles. Before I start cutting my next pieces, let's go ahead and ask our first question for the day. In case you're not sewing and you're just watching along. What is the most expensive thing that you have ever broken? Probably sticks in your mind, right? Probably something you wish you could forget, but can't. My very first car I broke. Yes, the most expensive thing that you've ever broken. And that is question number 1. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the yellow 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 pieces. There should be 2 of these. I'm going to line those up. And with these 2 squares, we're going to make 2 cuts. Okay, we're going to cut it first. Oh, let me line it up a little bit better than that, Lisa. There we go. We're going to cut diagonal one way. I'm not alone in the car, huh? We're going to make our first cut right through the middle, corner to corner. And then we're going to spin this right around and we're going to cut the other direction from corner to corner. So the yellow pieces we're cutting 2 times. So we should go from 2 yellow squares to 8 triangles, right? If I'm doing the math right. So there is now 8 yellow triangles. Is that all of the cutting? Yes, that's all of the cutting. So now we have a whole bunch of triangles. At this point, you should still have 4 3.5 by 3.5 background squares and 2 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 squares, right? We're ready to go ahead and lay out this block. And y'all, this block is the same no matter which way you turn it. So it doesn't matter which way we turn it. Upside down is still right side up. The first question, what is the most expensive thing you've ever broken? And while we're answering that first question, I'm going to go ahead and start laying out this block. Oh, let's see. Laying out this block. Nope, we're not done cutting. I thought something looked funny. We're going to take the 2 background squares that are also 4 1/4 and 4 1/4, and we're going to cut those 2 times. Yes, we are. It's Monday, Lisa. Get your stuff together. We're going to make 2 more cuts, y'all, before we lay out this block. So there's our first cut. We're going to spin it around and cut it the other way as well, just like we did with the yellow fabrics. So our 2 background squares should now be 8 triangles. Just like that. Now I think we're done cutting, right? And we can now lay out our stuff. So the only squares that we're not cutting apart into triangles would be the 4 3.5 by 3.5. Oh goodness, I cannot wait to go through and read all of your answers to this question. Yes, I drove my very first car while it was overheating, and I blew a head gasket. Hello everybody, it's so great that you've joined in. Today we're making the beaming star block, and I'm going to go ahead and start laying out my block. So we're going to take the 4 squares that we have not cut, and those go in the 4 corners. Wow, we have a lot of little triangles. A lot of little triangles. That looks good for right this minute. Now let's focus, Lisa, so you don't mess this up. We have red triangles. We have a bigger background triangles. We have smaller yellow triangles, and we have smaller background triangles. This block has a lot of triangles. All right, so let's start with the red ones. I'm going to lay those out. Again, this block is the same way no matter which way you turn it. The red triangles are going to form a little diamond right through this block. So let's get that laid out. Just like this. Like that. Like that. know this block might look a little intimidating because of all of the triangles, but that's okay. We've had experience doing the triangles, right? You can do this. Oh, it's not all gonna fit in here either, is it? Scoot it up just a little bit. And it's gonna look a little wonky because we have our seam allowances in there. Does that fit? It fits. And we have one here and one here, right? Already that looks pretty fantastic. Just like that. All right, let me go through Miss Cash. Let's see. Go over the ones you have cut again. All right, the red 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, you're going to cut one time on the diagonal. The white 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, one time on the diagonal. And then you'll have the yellow 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. You're going to cut two times on the diagonal. And the white 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. You're going to cut those pieces two times, diagonal, corner to corner. The only pieces you're not cutting are the, let's see, which ones were they? Oh, I just threw that piece of paper away. Are your four corners, right? These are 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. Are you all caught up? I'm hoping that just answered your question. There's a little bit of a delay from what I see coming through and what I'm talking about. So I'm hoping that that answered your question. So now we're going to lay out our yellow triangles. And we're going to place the longer side towards the four corner, just like that. The longer side of our triangle goes towards the corner block. Same here. Same here. And here. 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 There's a lot of pieces to this block. And here. Right? Let's come in with our bigger triangles, and those fill in the middle of the block. Just like this. Or we're going to do lots of sewing today, right? Lots of sewing. There's the middle. And now we have the smaller background triangles. And we are putting the longer side goes towards the edge of our block. The outside edge of our block, just like that. One great thing about YouTube, right, is even if you're watching live and you have a question and you need to pause it, you can always come back and watch the replay and see it done all over again. That's one of the beauties about the YouTubes, right? We're just filling in all of the rest of these empty spaces. Wow, I like the colors. I like the colors I picked out. So there we are. I'm going to give y'all all a second, if you're sewing with me live, to get all of your pieces laid out. It's a little off the screen for the moment. It doesn't all fit in there. Yes, the weather's been crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So let's go ahead and start with question number 2. In your opinion, what do you think the best invention, what do you think the greatest invention that there ever was is? Trying to put it in a way that makes sense. What do you think the best invention ever created is? I'm going to give everybody hopefully a minute to catch up and lay out their blocks. I'm going to be grabbing a marker to keep all of these pieces straight here in just a second. Miss Chantel, you could press your seams open. I usually press my seams to the darker fabric. You have a darker fabric and a lighter fabric. I usually press my seams towards the darker side, if possible. Could you explain how you chose your fabric colors? Most of the time, a lot of people like to use color theory, right? I pick my background color first, and then I look through my fabrics and I see which ones would really go with that and give a really great pop. I give suggested colors when I give you the pieces. However, you're always more than welcome to change up the colors. This background fabric that I'm using is actually some yardage I had left over from a quilt that I made. Happiness is Homemade. I had a bunch of that fabric left over. So I've been using that a lot in this quilt series that we're doing. And then actually this fabric and this fabric is part of a layer cake that belonged to my mom. And it just all kind of goes, right? The washing machine, yes. Indoor toilet, yes. Wonderful inventions. Wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the sewing process because this is going to take us a minute. And I'm hoping that you can keep up if you're sewing with me live. If by chance I'm going too fast, just shout at me and I'll try to slow down. But we're going to have a lot of sewing to do with this block. And so we're going to have to kind of keep it moving along. Again, you can always come back when we're done and watch it on the replay. Chantel, I think it'll all make sense once you start making blocks like this. Sometimes the seams nest and sometimes they do not. Sometimes you're going to have some thicker seams. If you press your seams open, you'll have flatter seams when doing a block like this. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with the smaller triangles, okay? I have my marker. Grab a pencil or something that's not going to bleed through your fabrics or mess up your fabrics. I'm going to flip the smaller triangle right onto the yellow triangle, and I'm going to mark those seams so I do not get turned around. We're going to actually be sewing the seam that joins them right here. So flip it down and mark that seam. Flip it down, mark that seam. And this just helps us stay organized at the sewing machine. I'm going to be doing some chain piecing to get all of these triangles sewn together at the same time. For me, it just speeds up the process. You don't have to do it that way. And just like that. So we have all of our seams marked. Question number 2, in case you missed it, what do you think the best invention ever created was? Now you can throw some pins in these pieces if you want to. Make sure your sewing machine is set to a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to go ahead and start piecing this one together. So there's one. Two. Three. Oh, the coffee maker. Yes, we had to buy a new coffee pot yesterday because our Keurig went on the fritz. When you chain piece, even though there's lots of little pieces to this quilt block, when you chain piece, they seem to go together pretty quickly, right? Miss Chantel, I'm going to show you, once I press all these open, that I'm pressing mine to the darker yellow side. And I'll show you the seams as we piece this block together. Two more. We have 2 more left to do. Piecing together our smaller triangles. And one more. Air conditioning. Oh, I agree with that one. Yes. Air conditioning. All right, that was our last set. All of my little fabrics have dropped. I have to grab it with my toe. All right, so here's all of our little triangles, just like this. I'm going to cut them apart. Then we're going to trim off the little dog ears and then give these a press. It is still dark outside, y'all. Still dark. Thank you so much, Zita. This was one of the t-shirts I found at the Goodwill when I went searching for t-shirts for a quilt. We're going to just trim off the little dog ears on each one of these sets. This t-shirt was going to go in that t-shirt quilt that I made, but I liked it so much and it fit, so I kept it. Wow, lots of little triangles with this block. Lots of little triangles. All right. Now I'm going to take these over and give them a press. I got to wake up my iron. Wake up. It's time to go to work today. Miss Chantel, you can press your seams open. That's going to give you a flatter seam for this block if you want to press them open just like that. I always press to the side. Pressing to the side, you'll have some thicker seams in a block just like this one, okay? If you want to have flatter seams, press them open just like that. And as I press these, I'm going to start laying them back down so that you see exactly where they go. So there's one. Two. Dun, 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 dun. Three. Four. Scissors are in my way. Let's see, Lisa. Here we go. Nope. See, even sometimes I'm like, which way does it go? There we go. Oh, let's see. It's going to take me a second. Okay. So this one goes there. This one goes like that. So I have one of them turned around. Like that. That. Yes, I think I turned one of them around. Oh, here we go. All right, I knew I marked those seams for a reason, right? There we go. I'm going to give you a second to catch up. That's where we are. Yes, the dark yellow stays next to the square. It took me a second. Wow, so great to see everybody. So great to see you. So our third question for the day is, do you have a favorite genre of music? And if so, what is it? I'm very eclectical when it comes to music. I love all genres of music. It really depends on the mood I'm in at the moment, but I love all of it. Do you have a preferred favorite genre of music? I know we still might be off the screen with the edges of some of these blocks. It's going to start shrinking down here in just a minute. So now that we're done piecing the yellow and the background triangles together, let's go ahead and flip them right onto the red part of the triangle, just like that. And I'm going to mark that seam so I don't get turned around, right? Mark that seam. Mark that seam. Mark that seam. And that one. And that one. And that one. Lots of seams for this block. And that one. So this is what we're sewing this time. I'm going to go ahead and start doing that. Again, I'm just doing some chain piecing, lining up the edges of my triangles, and sewing that with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So there's one. Yeah, I think it really depends on the kind of mood I'm in. If I had, it would be so hard for me if I had to pick a favorite. Going through, we're almost halfway done with these. Lots of sewing in today's block. There's another one. And another one. I have a feeling we're going to go through the questions before I get done with this block today. All right, we've got 2 more. And 1 more. Thank y'all for spending your part of your Monday with me. I hope y'all had a fantastic Easter. My shirt. I know, I'm awesome, but let's not make a big deal about it. It was one of the ones that I found at the Goodwill, and I thought it was funny, so I kept it. All right, so we have all of those triangles pieced. Big long line of them right here. And I'm going to cut those apart. Snip, 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 snip. And I'm going to go through and cut the dog ears off of these triangles as well. Again, your seams will be much flatter if you press your seams open. I'll be pressing mine to the darker red fabric. I'll be making a quilt with all of the blocks that you see up behind me on the design wall once we're done with this series, when we can all resume back to our normal schedules, whenever that is. I will be putting all these blocks together as a quilt. I have a feeling you could probably make a couple of lap size quilts by the time that this is over. Wake up iron. Could you cut the dog ears off when cutting apart? Looks like it could save time, or would there be a greater chance of making a mistake? You probably could. There's always more than one way to do anything, right? If that way is easier for you, Miss Doris, then by all means do that. I have more control. I have shaky hands, so I have more control trimming close to that seam and just snipping off the dog ears the way that I do it. But if that works for you, then by all means, yes, you could do that. I have to control my shaky little fingers. Now I'm going to go ahead and give these a press. I know, Sherry, actually I'm going to have to take the blocks off of my design wall for a day or two, because I started a commission quilt today, and when I get to that point, I will have t-shirt quilt blocks on the design wall behind me for a day or two. As I get these pressed, I'll start laying them out again. So there's one. There's one. Actually, I'm going to set them all here and then I'll rearrange them. I think that would be easier, right? Miss Chantel, because you had asked about it, you could either press your seams open or pressing to the dark side. These two triangles here are pressing towards the darker. So that's pretty flat, even if you're pressing to the side. All right, I've got one more left to do. We will lay out these pieces and then I'll check to see if there was any questions. Let's see. The yellow triangles always towards the four corners. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, like that. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, right, y'all? Like that. Nope. 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 Yes. I might have it laid out for a minute, but hopefully I'll catch it. Might have it laid out wrong, but I'll catch it here in a second. There we go. All right, it's starting to come together. I'm going to give everybody a second to catch up if you're sewing with me live. You're so welcome, Miss Susan. It is a lot of pieces, Dawn. That's a lot of pieces. I think, Miss Sita, yes, this is going to be an awesome block. It's a lot of sewing, but I think it's going to be so worth it, right? Miss Dora has a question. Let me go up. Oh, I think I got her question. So far, so good. Thank you, Miss Chantel. Thank you. Yes, it's coming together, Miss Janet. It's coming together. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and flip the background triangles onto these bigger red triangles right in the center. Just like that. And these will be the last triangles we have to sew together, y'all. The last triangles. I'm going to mark this seam and this seam, this one, and this one. These are the seams we'll be sewing for these 4 sets of triangles. I'm going to go ahead and ask our last question for the day, and then maybe y'all have some questions. Maybe we can do those if we still have time. The 4th question, what fruit do you eat the most of? You know I had to throw a food question in there somewhere. What fruit do you eat the most of? I'm going to go ahead and sew these 4 seams. These are our last 4 triangles. There's 1. Two. Pineapple. I love pineapple. I can only eat a little bit of it though, because it tears my mouth up, but I love it so much. There's the 3rd one and the last one. Fruit dipped in chocolate. Yes. All right, everybody, that did not take as long as the other sets of triangles. There were only 4 of them. These are our bigger ones. I'm going to cut those little connecting threads. We're going to trim off more dog ears. And then this block should come together in 4 rows, right? You see the rows forming? Oh, if you grill the pineapple, it won't mess up your mouth as much. I did not know that, Miss Mimsy. Thank you. Harlan grills a lot, so maybe the next time he's out there, we'll throw some pineapple on the grill. That sounds delicious. I'm hungry, y'all. It's past my lunchtime. All right, I have 4 of these. I'm going to press these seams to the darker side. press them open if you want to. And these will form this little diamond right in the center. These blocks, when finished, should measure 3.5 by 3.5. If you're making half square triangles in another way and you need to trim them down, these triangles here should measure 3.5 by 3.5. Oh, and I'm turning them the wrong way, Lisa. Pay attention. Pay attention, Lisa. Here we go. There we go. Now you see the 4 rows? They're going to come together just like this. And the block is shrinking down. It's going to shrink a little bit more. I'm going to give you just a second to catch up if you're sewing with me live. Let me get a sip of water. Ooh, blueberries are good too. Ooh, Miss Kim, you are so right. Chocolate is derived from a bean, and so it's a vegetable. Yep, I almost created a different block. I caught it. I caught it just in time. So guess what, y'all? These blocks are going to come together really fast. Now I'm going to do some chain piecing because that speeds up everything. And if not, we'd be here for 2 more hours, right? So the first thing I'm going to do to keep myself straight is I'm going to flip over the second block right onto the first one. And it's all going to sit right here on my table, so you'll see the blocks start disappearing. Just like this. And we are sewing this seam with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Yes, tons and tons of sewing with this block, y'all. Tons and tons of sewing. Going one by one right down this row. We are now forming our 4 rows. I'm not even going to break the connecting threads between these. Oops, I'm not done yet. Getting ahead of myself. Grab the 4th one, Lisa. I just get so excited. All right, you have to remember that's our 4th one. I'm not going to break the thread on these 3. It's going to help me stay in order. I'm going to open up these first 2. I'm going to bring over this 3rd one. Going to make sure it's going in the right direction. Flip it down and sew that. Now we're on row number 2. We'll flip that open. We're going to grab the 2nd block or the third block of row number 2. We can just check it, flip it, line it up and sew it. We're on row number 3 now. Open that up. Grab this block, check it, flip it, and sew it. And then we'll bring in this fourth one that I almost forgot about. Check it, flip it, and sew it. All right, and while we're still here, I'm going to go back up to the top. Let me cut that off. This is our first row. We're ready to join the last block. Thank you so much, Miss Nita. Thank you so much. Now we're adding our corner. Just like this. We're on row number 2. Let's bring in this last piece. Check it, flip it, and sew it. And I usually say this to myself, even when I'm by myself. Row number 3. We're going to check it, flip it, and sew it. And our last piece. See how chain piecing really speeds up the whole process? If you're making lots of these blocks, that's going to be a lot of sewing, right? A lot of sewing. But the good news is, at this point, we only have 1, 2, 3 seams left. We're on the home stretch now. So we can go ahead and open this up. I'm going to cut all of the little connecting threads that are holding these rows together. I'm going to tell you, patchwork, I used to not be a huge fan of patchwork. I love and prefer applique. But doing these videos, I'm really starting to develop a love for patchwork. So now I'm going to go ahead and press these. Pressing them open will give you flatter seams. Okay, just to give you an example though, because I don't press my seams open, when I press this, even though this is a lighter fabric, these seams here are thicker. They want to lay towards the background. So those 2 seams will be pressed like this. This seam, it doesn't much matter. We've got 2 thicker seams coming in. It doesn't much matter. You could press it open just like that, and it would lay flatter if you want to. So there's our first row. The $9.99, that was Miss Nita, y'all. She did a super chat. That's what that is. Here's row number 2. Yes, lots and lots of sewing for this block. We're coming right along. We're almost done. If you've stuck with me this far, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. This block is taking a good minute, right? So there's our 3 rows. Just like that. Just going to scroll through and see if we have any questions. I think we're good. We're good. I cannot wait to go back this evening and read through all of your comments and your conversation. I really hope that you take this time. It's why we're doing these videos for the most part, right? Is so that we all have time to talk with one another. For some of us, this is going to be the only interaction with other people today because we're all stuck at home, right? So, main reason we're doing these videos. Now, to speed up the process, I'm going to flip this second row right on top of the first row. And if it helps you remember which seam you're sewing, let's go ahead and mark it. Quilting Bug, thank you so much, Miss Diana. Y'all are so sweet. I'm going to flip the third row onto the bottom row, just like this. And you're going to mark that seam. That's going to help you remember which one we're sewing when we go over to the sewing machine. Y'all are so sweet. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to line up these seams. We're going to sew these 2 rows together. And I just line these seams up as I work from one end to the next. Hold it down with my finger. You could throw some pins in there if you want to. There's one of my thicker seams. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this second unit over. And because I've marked which side we're sewing, that'll help me stay organized, Lisa. Stay organized. Do y'all remember one of the first videos we did of this series? I sewed that whole block wrong at the end. All right, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Linda, thank you so much. Y'all, thank you so much. Harlan always gets excited when I tell him about the super chat. You know that you do not have to do that though, right? I just want to hang out with y'all. Spend time with you. So here's the first 2 seams that we did together. We have one more. So I'm not even going to press these 2 seams. I'm just going to flip the bottom right onto the top. I'm going to go ahead and mark it. And we're going to bring this over to the sewing machine. Lining the seams up. We have one more seam left on this block. I think a quilt made with this block repeated would be amazing, right? It's a lot of sewing, but I think it would be so worth it. And there is our last seam of the day. Miss Norma, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. All right, let's take a good look at this. This is what it looks like before we press it. Connie, thank you so much. Y'all. Thank you. Thank you, Hazel. Thank you. I'm going to go give this a press and we're going to do a big reveal at the end of this video. Now I got lots and lots of seams back here on this block, y'all. This is not my prettiest work on the back of this block, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to show you what the back of my block looks like. Just don't judge me at all my flipped around seams and my partially open seams. I like keeping it all real with you. I'm going to reveal it to you. I do like this block though, y'all. All right, because I like keeping it real with you. Here's all the crazy wonkiness of all my seams on the back. You can see some of them accidentally got open when I pressed them or when I sewed them. Some are going which way this way and which way that way. I'm not ashamed to show you. It is what it is, but let me show you the front. Here's the most important part, right? It's so pretty. Look how pretty that is. Oh, I love this block. That was a lot of sewing, y'all. That was a lot of little pieces. That was a lot of seams. But I think it's so worth it. Look at this. Beautiful. Y'all, thank y'all so much. I'm just so glad. I'm so glad that we have had this opportunity. This makes 21 blocks, 21 days in a row. I have a really awesome block lined up for tomorrow. Yes, I do. So hold tight for just a minute. I'm going to show you that. Miss Barbara, thank you. Y'all are trying to make me cry today. Yes. I love this. I know I'm going to start seeing these blocks show up on the Creative Crew group. I cannot wait. If you're not on Facebook and you want to send me pictures, you can email me pictures to lisacapenquilts@gmail.com, or you can jump over to Etsy because you can send me pictures through the messenger part of Etsy. A link to Etsy is down below in the description box. I got pictures from someone this morning over on Etsy sharing their blocks with me. So if you don't do Facebook and you still want to, thank you, Miss Sarah, and you still want to share your blocks with me, I'd love to see them. I get excited when I see everybody else's stuff. I see my stuff all the time. I want to see your stuff. Thank you so much, Miss Sarah. Y'all, this is crazy. Crazy, crazy. So here is the beaming star block. I think it's going to look fantastic up on the wall with the other ones, right? Let me show you tomorrow's block because I want to leave that on the screen for a few minutes before we close for today. Okay? I'm sorry if I've gotten really ahead of you. The good news is you'll be able to come back and watch the replay and pause it, right? Tomorrow's block is called Farmer's Daughter. Farmer's Daughter, it's a 10-inch quilt block. Here are all of the pieces that you need to make this quilt block. I'm going to show you here in just a second what this block would look like repeated as a quilt, and it is pretty fantastic. Tomorrow's block is a little bit easier too. Still got a lot of pieces, but a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a lot of pieces tomorrow too. Thank y'all so much. How many videos are you going to do? Bonnie, when I first started this series, we were told to stay home until the end of April, and then that got extended to June the 10th. You know what? For everybody, for small businesses, for people out of work, I'm really hoping that they reduce that. But for safety-wise, they might not reduce that. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and I want everyone to stay safe as possible. We might be going until June the 10th. I don't know. But yes, a block a day. Tomorrow's block will be number 22. Mimsy, you are so right. You are so right. You're helping me by just watching my video. You're helping me if you give my video a thumbs up. YouTube recognizes that as engagement on my video. So if you want to just hit the thumbs up button, you are helping me so much by doing that. When you watch my videos and you watch more than half of any video on my channel, the analytics love that. That is helping my channel. That is helping me. Even those of you who give me thumbs downs on my video, you're helping me. Did you know that? Thank you so much. YouTube doesn't care if it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's engagement on my video, and they see any engagement as positive engagement on my video. So thank you. If you comment on my videos, that is like a super big thank you, because YouTube sees that as really a lot of engagement. And if you share my videos, like if you share it over on Facebook, YouTube loves it. So that is one way to help me with my videos. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, share. That helps me out so much. So if you want to help, any of those 4 ways would be awesome help as well. Of course, thank you also for the super chats, but I do realize not everybody's able to do that, especially right now, right? We have so many people laid off, furloughed, lost their jobs, places are closed. I get it, y'all. I get it. If you want to help me, you can do it any of those ways. Thumbs up, thumbs down my video. It's all the same to me. Thank you. Bye, Miss Nadine. Watching replays counts. Yes. Diane, you think we're going to be inside for at least another month? Possibly, yeah. June the 10th here. Connie, you'd be surprised. I get a thumbs down on every single one of my videos. Here's something surprising that's interesting. Every day I've gone live, I've gotten a thumbs down before I'm even done with the live video. 1. So it kind of just makes me believe that it's probably the same person who sees me live and thumbs downs my video. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, because YouTube sees that as engagement and it helps my channel. So thank you so much. Chatting. I think the chatting does also count as engagement on a video during a live chat. I believe so. Yeah, sharing, thumbs up, thumbs down, comments, sharing. And, YouTube has this whole analytics thing. And I feel like we can talk for a little bit, even though this is a longer video, because I want everybody to have a chance to write down these numbers, right, for tomorrow. But yeah, YouTube has all kinds of analytics, and they love when someone watches a video more than halfway through. So if you have a 12-minute video and someone watches for at least 6 minutes of it, they love it. They really love it if you watch to the end, but if you make it through half of the video, YouTube says, hey, this is a video that people want to watch, and they suggest it to other people, right? So yeah, that's one way to help out any of your YouTube content creators out there, because I'm not the only one. And I have people that I love to watch. I always try to make sure I watch at least half of the video before I go start doing something else. And yeah, thumbs it up and share it. Sharing helps a lot too. Yep, YouTube and the analytics that run YouTube. There's a whole great big science to it, and they're always changing something, but they love engagement and they love audience retention. And just being 100% honest with you, because just like the seams on the back of my quilt block, I'm going to be really honest with you. My channel is monetized, which means more than likely when you click on one of my videos, there's an ad that plays at the beginning. Sometimes there's an ad at the end. Sometimes YouTube will put a little ad at the bottom of the video. I don't know where all they put them. They decide. I don't have any control over it. But yeah, my channel is monetized, and so I do watch the analytics, like how long someone watches, and when YouTube thinks that you've made a video that's worth sharing, they send it out to people who are not subscribed to you. And then if those people watch it, then they send it out more. And yeah. Yes, Miss Carol, the leaders and enders on the sewing machine. A lot of sewing machines, not all of them, but a lot of them, when you first start sewing your pieces together, sometimes your needle comes unthread if you haven't left a long enough thread tail, right? Now you start sewing and you have no thread in your needle. Sometimes a little bird's nest, a little nest will happen, a little knot, and make a big mess in the bobbin area when you start sewing. Using the leaders and enders helps prevent all of that, and it also saves so much thread. You know, when you piece two pieces together, and if you pull that thread off to use your thread cutter on the machine, you're pulling off a good, 6 or 7 inches each time. And with the leader and ender, I'm using about 1.5 inches just to bring it away from the sewing machine. And so there's several different reasons why I use them, but yeah, it helps keep all the little knots and bird nest happening when you first start sewing. Thank you, Miss Cindy. Thank you so much. Studio 831. I think that happens a lot too. We accidentally hit the thumbs down when we meant to hit the thumbs up. That happens. It happens. It happens. So let me show y'all something pretty amazing before we go for today. If you repeat this quilt block and make a quilt from it, that's pretty amazing, right? I love that so much. So that's what it would look like if you repeated the Farmer's Daughter quilt block over and over again. Of course, you could switch up the colors all you wanted to. How do you prepare your leaders and enders? I just use scraps. Some people, okay, if you search leaders and enders, Cindy, thank you. If you go on YouTube and in the search box type in leader and ender quilt. Some people piece together quilts with their leaders and enders. Okay, if you have a stack of 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares right next to your sewing machine, and you always use those as your leaders and enders, you're piecing together little quilt blocks. I just use scraps because I'm not that pre-organized and I don't have a lot of pre-cuts already done. So I just use little scraps. Sometimes I'll use leftover binding that I know I'm not going to use it anymore. I'll just cut a snip off of that, and it's really just a piece of fabric folded over. But yes, some people use pre-cuts and always have them next to the machine, and they're working on 2 quilts at a time. Yes, it looks like flowers, right? I showed this. I came on live on Facebook right before we came onto YouTube. And while I was looking at this, it dawned on me that, you know, in some of the earlier videos of this series, we did a technique called snowballing. If you missed it, you'll have to go back and check that out. But it dawned on me, if you took the Farmer's Daughter quilt block and in the 4 corners, you did a little snowball, it would form little diamonds in between your flowers. Just an alternative way to do the Farmer's Daughter block. Actually, there might be a quilt block out there that's designed just like that. I don't know. But yeah, there's like a little 4 patch in between where all the flowers meet in the middle. If you snowballed your corners on this block, you would form a little diamond right in that space, which I think would be pretty fantastic. Juanita, you know what? It took me a year to build up the nerve to do the videos. I still have a lot of room for improvement. I do. But if you go back and watch my earlier videos, I've come a long way. And I think that if you just started where you are now and you did it, it's just like piecing half square triangles, right? It gets easier and easier the more you do it. You can do it. If you have a passion about something and you want to make videos, do it, please. I have a second family because I started doing these videos. I really do. I have family, I have friends that I care about and love because I started doing these videos. And I'm going to cry just talking about it. If you want to start making videos and you need help, I'm willing to help you. Send me a message. I will help you. Don't cry, Lisa. Don't cry. Don't cry. Yes, that's a lot of movement in that quilt if you repeat the block, right? I think it's so pretty. Lynn, you're getting better at matching seams. Awesome. Yes. Yes, you just keep doing it and keep doing it. And y'all are going to get better the more you do it. Thank y'all all so much. Just spending the time with you today and throughout this series has meant so much to me, y'all. You have no idea. Thank you, Miss Janet. Doing these videos is helping me too. Just deal with everything that's going on. I know everybody says it's helpful for everybody. It's helpful for me to see y'all every day. I'm benefiting a lot from this too. I really am. Just mentally. Just to see y'all, get updates from everybody. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Miss Janet. So yes, this is the block for tomorrow. I'm really excited about it. This is our block that we just finished up. If you've missed the measurements, come back to the replay and you can pause it or take a screenshot. This is what we made together. I absolutely love this block. It was a lot of sewing. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a lot of sewing. My seams are wonky on the back. That's all right. You won't see it. It's a pretty block. I look forward to adding it up to the design wall. I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for all of the encouragement. Thank you so much. Mimsy, yes, I will do a weekly live once this is all over. I'm going to tell you one of my goals as we close for today. One of my goals this year was to be more present live here on YouTube and over on Facebook. And I wasn't really living up to that. I was doing more lives over on Facebook because it's a little bit more of a comfortable platform for me. It just is. And yeah, doing this series 21 days live in a row has really helped me get past, a lot of the fear of doing the lives over here. And I'm getting more comfortable with it. I'm not going to lie, I'm still nervous. Every time I hit the go live button, I'm still nervous. Troy boy, hello. Oh, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. I'm all good. It's so great to see you. Did you lose power today? I know you're on the south side. But yes, I forget it's getting easier. So yes, I would love to do a weekly live. I can't tell you what day of the week it is. I don't even know how long we're doing this series. But yes, a weekly live here on YouTube would be awesome. Yes, Miss Doris, there's a whole playlist. There's 20 other videos. All the blocks you see up here, we've done lives for all of them. So now you got some binge watching to do. You got some binge watching to do to catch up. You lost power for about 15 minutes. My daughter and her husband, they live on the south side. I called her right before coming on YouTube today, and she was good. They didn't lose power, but she must have been out of the way. I know a lot of y'all on the south side lost power. All right, y'all. I have a t-shirt quilt to go start working on. I cannot wait to see y'all tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Farmer Starter block. I think it's going to be lots of sewing tomorrow too, but we'll make it fun and we'll make it easy. Okay? See y'all tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, everybody.